Good morning. Good morning. My name is Frank Lang. I'm a religious science practitioner and a happy member of this community. It's my pleasure to say good morning and welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Would you, all of you, anybody with a cell phone or other device, please take a moment and turn it off. Thank you. Now say hello to your neighbors. Say hello to 2 or 3 people in your vicinity. Okay. Okay. Again, welcome. This is from H.B. Jeffries in a little book called The Principles of Healing. Wherever you are in the center of the kingdom of God. You are the very throne room of deity. You cannot be where God is not. Where you are is centered all the power and all the wisdom and all the love of God. And wherever that centering may be, it is likewise everywhere. God is he or that, or her, however you may wish to express it, whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. The words to the morning chant will appear on the wall.
Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. In the simplest essence of life, that's what it's all about. In the simplest essence of life, that's what it's all about. And I am spiraling to the center of my being. And I am spiraling to the center of my being. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. In the simplest essence of life, that's what it's all about. In the simplest essence of life, that's what it's all about. And I am spiraling to the center of my being. And I am spiraling to the center of my being. And I am spiraling to the center of my being. And I am spiraling to the center of my being.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Carol Huntley. I welcome those of you who are here for the first time and some people back after a long time. And I want to say that you belong here. We love it when you're here and we miss you when you're not. And I'm saying that to the first timers too. We have been waiting for you. And so I'm very, very happy to be the senior minister of the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living and to lead us in prayer at the end of a week, or if you think it's the beginning of the next week, whatever you think Sunday is, marking a very intense week in history of our nation. And so if you would, with me, just go into a really good prayer for everything about Boston. And so as I spiral to the center of my being, I remember that that is a doorway into the infinite presence of God. And that as I move from the realm of the form into the realm of the formless, I am moving into that aspect of life that is the source of everything. Every new thing that comes into being, moment by moment by moment, comes from this field of pure potential. And so in prayer, I join with my beloveds to co-create the world that we have all been waiting for. For I know that the life of God is the life that I am living now. And I know that the creative capacity that made the worlds and the spirals of the galaxies is working on my behalf right now to co-create that world that does work for everyone. And if this is true for me, this is true for everyone here. And so joining now with my beloved brothers and sisters in a prayer for peace on earth, love unconditionally, and especially for our beloved Boston and everybody who is associated with that great city and the people in it in any way. And so in order to start this prayer of healing, I move into my heart of hearts, where love resides. And I sit in the love of God. I let the love of God bathe me in body, mind, and spirit until the only thing in my awareness is unconditional love. And as I sit in this unconditional love, I bring into my mind anyone that we could think of as a victim in the bombings in Boston. And I let the love sort of shift into that aspect of love known as compassion. And I don't resist looking, I don't resist holding, I don't resist breathing into the suffering of that moment and the moments following. But the love in my heart bathes it all in absolute compassion. And as I now shift my awareness to the perpetrators of this act that is abhorrent to our spirits, I let the love in my own heart change into that aspect of love known as peace. And I send peace, and I accept peace. And I move my awareness to the first responders and to all of those brave individuals who, with the peace in their hearts that they want to see in the world, worked on my behalf. And I let the love in my heart metamorphose into deep, deep gratitude, sending out gratitude to all who served. And finally, for anyone who is distressed or fearful, I let the love in my heart move into ease, that sweet peace that passes understanding, where the breath is easy and the hope is high, and the certainty that the infinite presence of life, God itself, outpictures in everyone and everything. That ease blankets everything about this entire situation. And so for the healing that I have called forth through the love of God through me, I give thanks. And as I release this word into that divine law, into that field of pure possibility, that is what is being made. And so it is. So this morning we have the perfect music. We always have the perfect music, but today is fabulous and wonderful Lakshmi Devi, along with our own Bodhi. And Lakshmi, you belong here too. You know, if you're not singing somewhere, you come on over here. Please welcome Lakshmi and Bodhi.
I'm so honored to be here with you all. So some of you may know this song. I've been here for a little while. It's called Summer Fire. We're not quite at summer yet, but we've had a few hot days this week, so we're getting there. Summer fire so hot, it burns awake my heart. Summer fire so high, through my soul's pain it gives me sight. And oh, it's burning. And oh, it's gonna be alright. Comes through the holy flame, what will we give it to rearrange? If we surrender all we've been into the holy fire, we will be reborn again. And oh, it's burning. And oh,
It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be
the announcements today because I have a gratitude to extend to the practitioners who do the inspiration line. A very short story. Last night I was in a home doing a ritual for a woman who was turning 70. This woman is sort of very peripheral to our community. She came to the solstice and she knows us and loves us, but at the party was a woman who was even more peripheral to our community and used to come in the early 90s. And she remembered me and she said, "Oh, I use your prayer line all the time," and she rattled off the number by heart, and then all the other women in the party were saying, "What's that? What's that?" They all got out their little smartphones. They took down the inspiration line, and this woman said, "I listen to it all the time. I listen to it several times a day. It changes, every week, and I have given this to people around the world." So I want us to give it up for, our practitioners.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Judith, and I get the pleasure of doing the rest of the announcements. And the first thing we do is we bless our children as they go off to their classes. But I also noticed that we have a baby amongst our midst, so we want to bless little Opal as well, because in a week with so much, So looking at this bright and brilliant face that obviously got the purple memo, we see that life in a week where there is so much death present is a continuing circle. And so take solace and hope in looking at our little ones, and take time this week to play with your grandchildren. And so we send our children off with a blessing. And I'd like to go ahead and invite Mary Carsgrove up, who's going to make a couple of announcements regarding some very special things.
Good morning, everyone. You probably see these pieces of paper on your chair. These are donation forms. We're having, as most of you know, GGCSL is participating in the Marin Human Race on May 11th. And this is an opportunity for you to share how much you love GGCSL with your friends and family and coworkers and anyone else you come into contact with. We're asking you to step outside your comfort zone a little bit and get in touch with why you come here every Sunday or every other Sunday or whatever it is. Why are you part of this community? What has touched you? What changed your life? And share that with people that we're asking you to ask for donations for GGCSL. And if you want to find out more about the race itself, it's actually, you can walk with your dogs. All you dog lovers out there who love to walk on Sundays with your dogs, you can participate as well. It's dog friendly. And we're going to be at the booth afterwards, and there's lots of fun going on that Sunday. We're going to be sharing GGCSL with everyone in Marin and beyond. So I'll be at the table over there. And the second announcement is Deborah Welsh has created the long-awaited GGCSL Business Connect page on Facebook. So for anyone here who is a business owner, entrepreneur and wants to share their business and their gifts with others in the community, please like GGCSL Business Connect on Facebook and start connecting.
Thank you, Mary. So the Business Connect page is a different page from GGCSL Center. So be sure to like both of them. This one's to bring and network so that we can help support each other in our business world. And in addition to doing that and figuring out how we can connect and support each other in the face-to-face world, I'd like to invite Reverend Sarah Hargraves up to make an announcement.
Thanks, Judith. Success. What is it? Ernest Holmes says success is more than dollars and cents. It's those things that make living enjoyable and bring personal happiness. So how many of you have activities that you enjoy, things you love, special interests? Anybody here? Would you like to connect with other people around those interests? Yeah? So I don't want to leave out the dollars and cents either, however. So how many of you are self-employed or out there on your own in some way? Look around at that. Now, how many of us know what everybody else does? I think not as much as we'd like. So next Sunday after service, immediately after service, there's going to be conversation and brainstorming in the corner, one of the corners, just for slightly more than an hour, to talk about how we might, as a community, help each other as in individuals succeed, and how we can share ideas with each other to support our own success, whether it's personal or professional. And so we don't have a program set up yet, but with your help, we'll decide what needs to be done, and then we'll do it. So join me next Sunday. If you are in any of those categories, really it's everybody, and I hope you'll come, and I hope to see you there. And also we have a sign-up sheet over here that if you're interested in the program and want to be on the email list for anything we send out, please put your name and email information on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Reverend Sarah. So in addition to creating success and helping each other success, we're all about celebrating success as well, right? Once somebody achieves something. Is Patty Fitzsimmons here? There you are. Stand up. We have a new author in our midst. Her novel, The Aquarians, Awakening the True Self, is going to have a book signing on May 4th at 4 p.m. So let's all congratulate her and show up at the book passage. And now I'd like to invite somebody from the other side of the world, because we're connected all over. Will you please help me welcome Reverend Barbara Leger, who does the Ukrainian ministries.
Well, thank you. It is so great to be connected here. For 12 years, I have been in Ukraine, and you have been the wings under our sails. And we have been in partnership for a long time. And I want to just take this feeling of celebration and acknowledge the things that are happening in our partnership that are really working well. Reverend Karyl and I have begun a program of praying with and for each other and each other's communities. We have agreed that once a month there's going to be a 5-minute Temenos Partnership News here. I'm launching it today, so that you'll have either somebody in person or some voice talking to you, and a little insert in your bulletin sharing with you some of the news of what's happening on the other side of this beautiful planet of ours, and sharing what possibilities are being born because of our partnership. So I want to just give you a couple of ideas of the partnerships that are being born. We have a conference. Oh gosh, I didn't bring up a flyer. There's a flyer over there on the table, beautiful blue flyer. Reverend Ken Gordon, the spiritual leader of Science of Mind, and his wife are going to be leading the North American delegation, so you can come. And if you can't come but want to support it, there's lots of ways to do that. We have practitioners praying with practitioners now. We have opportunities for mentoring from this community to our community. We have young adult Skype calls and bridges that your young adults can sit in and meet our young adults. There's just lots of ways that we can deepen our connection so that we know that we belong to each other and that we know that we include each other in our prayers and that the connection that happens around the planet enriches each of our lives, and we bring more peace and more love and more joy to all of us. So I'm so happy to be here, part of this wonderful community, and thank you for letting me speak to you today.
Thank you, Reverend Barbara. So as you can see, we have things right here in this community happening. We have things online happening. We have things across the pond happening, and we can't mention them all in this space. So I will point your attention to the fact that we have flyers for certain ones. For example, one coming up next Saturday that you might not have heard of, the spiritual singles. So when there's a flyer, make sure to read it and pay attention. And Ellie, can you stand just quickly? And this event here, she has the flyers in her hand, and she can tell you where it is. It's in conjunction with Unity of Marin, so it's not just the singles here. We also have things in our bulletin that you can see that weren't announced. For example, I noticed David Ault is coming next week, a great reverend who is a musician, so be sure to read it, because not everything's set up here, and get her weekly newsletter as well. So now, I'd like to introduce the spiritual community leader for Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, our very own Reverend Karyl Huntley.
Oh, thank you, Judith. Welcome again, and let's just take a deep breath. And it's so many announcements, and we have to think about so much. And now you can actually lose your mind, and I'll just take you on a heart trip. Our theme this year is the new world and the ancient path. And what we're trying to do is bringing wisdom from our ancestors and from really modern and ultra-modern inventions to come together, informing us about our principles that we so believe in, that if you want your life to change, you have to change your thinking. That is basically it. And so part of that is you also have to change your feeling. If you want to change your life, you have to have that atmosphere of love and connection more than worry. You know, we don't want to worry at all. But I want to draw your attention to this depiction of our whole year, the new world and the ancient path. We have a word every single week, and we have a monthly theme. Right now in April, our theme is inspiration. So this is actually a depiction of an ancient idea, which is the seasonal year. And if, we're like right here now, and if this were a compass, this would be the east. So spring is right in this section where we are right now. And there are some themes that, if you think about it, fit so well together. This is also kind of a clock of a day. And if you take that sunrise is here, what goes with sunrise is light, lightness, airiness, new beginnings, new ideas, and that feeling that on a clear day you can see forever. So those are some of the themes that should be as I say them, felt in your body like, yeah, this is great, as opposed to harvest. We're not harvesting. We're planting now. We are looking for new ideas. We are looking into the light. We are waking up and yawning and opening up our mind, our heart, and everything about us. And so, open is the word for the day. So, if we have felt worry or anger or anxiety this week or fear, that's the opposite of opening. And if you can remember those feelings, I don't really want you to go there now, but you can feel that that is a closed feeling. We want to protect ourselves rather than take a deep breath and just move out into the day. So the principle is that when we close to something, we actually close to everything. We can't be in our shell, to protect ourselves from the fear and also open. So we have to make a choice. And when we feel ourselves moving into that closed feeling state, part of our practice is ways that we can open. Now, the title today of the talk is Breathing the Breath of the Breather. So today is about breathing, and it's a practice that can bring us back to our oneness with God. And it's a way that we can open back up if we have been closed off. There's a story, actually a research piece about a doctor who was losing business, and his patients were going elsewhere. And he wondered what to do to reestablish his business. And somehow or other, what he did, this was the first thing he did, and actually it turned out that this is the only thing he needed to do. When he would go up to a room, instead of grabbing the chart off the door and bursting in and having, a quick conversation and being kind of breathless and not being fully present for the patient, he would stop at the closed door. He would lower his shoulders and take one deep breath, and then take the chart. That was all he did, and the practice picked up because he became open. So just one more reference to cleaning out anything that needs to be cleaned out from this week. We can actually do that with our breath, and as we breathe out that which our body doesn't need, which is carbon dioxide, which the plants do need. How is that for nice and balanced in the world? And then we breathe in peace and love and what we've already spoken about, and beautiful opal over there that's just giggling, and what a brand new beginning piece for spring. And then breathing out fear and breathing in love and breathing out separation. With every breath, we can feel more relaxed. So just with me for a moment, if you would. Imagine that you can actually breathe through your heart. And as this next breath happens, imagine that the air is coming into you through your heart. And then you can exhale it any way you want. Imagine now that the air is being breathed into your heart from the back. Breathing into your heart and out. Now with this next breath, imagine that you can literally breathe through the top of your head. So all of the light of the spring sunshine breathes in with you. Imagining that light to bless every single cell. And so coming back into the room and realizing that as we become open, we become porous. We become open to each other. We breathe in each other. And when we open, we have a wonderful way of connecting with an aspect of living that is expressed in this basic principle. Basic principle right up here. The basic principle is there is one mind, which is God's mind. and it is my mind now. So let me try to explain this for people who are not conversant with our philosophy. In the Bible, it says the same thing, let the mind be in you that it was in a Christ Jesus. And so the mind in Jesus, we imagine, was fully encompassed as the mind of the infinite. So there are answers around you. There is knowledge around you. There are new ideas available to you. There is advanced mental activity, higher thinking, all healing thoughts. There are inspired concepts like world peace that are around us. They exist now. And we call it the mind of God, but even that, we have not a big enough concept of that. Even when we say infinite mind, the best that I could come up with in simple terms is everything to know is known. Wow. Just think about that. Everything to know is known. So because everything is one, let's just focus on everything being one and connecting and loving. It's just us here, just us. Everything is one, and it's just us. And everything to be known is known. And because we're all one, we have access to that universal knowledge. And we use it when we open up and we ask for a new idea. We use it when we ask for a solution, and it's there. In this little book that I put together of my favorite quotes from Einstein, I want to know God's thoughts, the rest are details. Now, isn't that great? With the details, I want to know God's thoughts. Now, how do we do that? How do we open up to this infinite knowledge that whatever question we have, whatever lack we seemingly have, there is an answer to it? Well, I put together 3 themes today that in my own intuitive way seem to hold together, and I hope they hold together for you too. The first one is inspiration, our theme for April. So when we give ourselves access to new ideas, we become inspired. But in order to be inspired, we have to be receptive to new ideas. We have to be that open place. We can't be closed down. Now, how many of you ever experienced test anxiety? Okay. You know that's not where you want to go. Because you know the answers to the test, and you get into the test experience, and you're nervous, and nervousness closes you down. And so in order to be inspired, we open up. So we get rid of worry, we get rid of concern, and there are ways to do that. And here are the ways. Kathy Fowler did this great altar. And she sent me an email that was so amazingly touching for me. I wanted to share it with you. And I wanted to share it not only to explain the altar, but for you to have a feeling of what the altar team gets to do. The altar team actually has spiritual practice going on as they're designing the altar. So I asked Kathy if I could read her email. Hi, Reverend Karyl. I really enjoyed thinking about this altar. You might say I was inspired by it. I found the perfect fabric. It's green and gold. I'll bring the globe, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Here's my list of the things that inspire me. I am inspired by our symbiotic relationship with the plants, which literally provide us inspiration, the beauty of flowers in the natural world. I'm inspired by art, music, poetry, birth, the creation of human life, light, which represents spirit, the cross, which symbolizes where heaven and earth intersect, as well as Jesus, the bringer of the good news. God is a God of love, not wrath. The compassion of Kuan Yin, Ganesha's removal of obstacles, spiritual books by Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Fred Luskin, and Reverend Karyl. And Bob Plath's creation of International Forgiveness Day and the Heroes of Forgiveness, the metamorphosis of frogs and butterflies. We can change into what we want to be, and the protection of angels. Now, I am telling you what, that is an inspiration. That is an inspiration. Thank you, thank you. Now, if you don't have a list that long, I want you to get one. Because let me tell you that everything that inspires Kathy is a doorway into the mind of God, a doorway into the infinite mind that has all of the answers. And so what happens is we get ourselves into love, or a variation of love, like I prayed in the opening prayer. We get ourselves into our favorite variation of love, and then we get out of linear thinking, and we go to this great gestalt of allness. And sometimes showers are very inspirational for people because we're in that somehow magical place, you know, with the running water. Walks do the same thing, exercise, gardening, playing, or listening to music. And when we are in love, that feeling state in our right brain sort of lights up and we get answers. Another wonderful time to do it is right when you wake up, and you can program your mind right when you go to sleep that you want answers. And so we prepare the soil, and the infinite plants the seeds of ideas. So one of the ways that so touched me this week, that being in a state of love inspired great work, has to do with Boston. Both my son and his girlfriend used to live in Boston. He is now in Miami, and she is in Chicago. And Kim in Chicago started working love on Facebook. And she, first of all, she would do a Facebook blast saying, Boston friends, they are going to shut down the smartphone towers. Please start using other social media and let us know you're safe. Then she would Facebook the 800 number. If you see anything, call this number. Then she would, I think it felt like she was like getting the download from police, because she would say, now this neighborhood, you've got to stay inside. Now this neighborhood, you've got to stay inside. And she would keep saying, stay safe, friends. And then what was so amazing was that people would Facebook her back and say, Kim, you are a guardian angel. I can hear gunshots outside. And she would just send more love. And so she stayed up all night in that, dragnet night, doing updates. And I Facebooked her, and I said, Kim, you are a force for good. And this is what she wrote back. I just feel like every tiny bit of good that I have inside me needs to be put out into the world right now. That's inspiration. And that is inspiration of coming from love in a scary situation. We can all do that. We can say, get thee behind me, fear, and let me express love in whatever way makes sense. And who knew that Facebook would be an agent of the Lord and the law through Kim and love? So, what inspires you? Use it. Use it as a doorway into God. And so that word inspiration really does mean letting spirit in. Inspiration. And we inspire as we respire, breathe. That's the next word, breath. This is really a way to know God. In every single meditation practice that I know of, there is a component of breath and how to breathe differently, how to breathe deeply, how to breathe connectedly, how to breathe out of one nostril and then out of the other nostril, all these kinds of things to make us aware of our breath, because our breath reminds us that moment by moment by moment by moment we are supported by God. What an awe-inspiring thing to just in this moment contemplate our first breath and our last breath and our next breath. Somewhere around 10 times a minute, we are supported by the infinite in an unconscious way, keeping our bodies alive by washing every cell in life-giving oxygen. And the breath also teaches us. It's so great because we're in this world of form and we have opposites. We have what certainly feels like good and bad within the allness of God. And our breath, with its outflow and its inflow, reminds us that opposites occur within the oneness. And so we have flow and cycles and in and out and giving, receiving, and accepting and releasing. And this wonderful reminder from the Buddha, there is praise and blame, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, fame and disrepute. Did you think this would not happen to you? We're earthlings, getting to experience the opposites within the allness of God. And so just like our breath, everything comes to pass. All the things that we say are good, all the things that we say are bad, it comes in, it goes out, never ever in just one direction, but like the tide, coming in and going out, helping us create our world by using our words as the exhale moves from us, speaking our word into the world, preceding the experience. And if you would ever like some assistance in creating your world using your breath and your word, see a practitioner, because they are trained in order to help you speak the word effectively so that your life will change. And so, reminding ourselves that we are earthlings on Earth Day, see how all these work together? Inspiration, breath, and earth. This is our home. This is our wonderful dichotomy of things that are so solid and things that are invisible like the breath. And so this coming together, this is the picture of us, earth and breath. That which inspires us moment by moment, and what we are made of, which are the elements of the earth, the elements of the sea, the elements of the mountains. And there is an author that I particularly love. John O'Donohue is an Irish mystic. And in his writing, he talks about us as clay people. He also talks about us as amazing spirits and infinite beings and soul friends, one unto another. But when he's talking about us walking around, he refers to us as clay people, taking the clay of the earth and letting it form our bodies. I want to read to you a paragraph that is so loving, that sort of informs me about why our community works. So just lose your mind and listen to this story. When you find the person you love, an act of ancient recognition brings you together. It is as if millions of years before the silence of nature broke, his or her clay and your clay laid side by side. Then in the turning of the seasons, you're one clay, divided and separated. You begin to rise as distinct clay forms, each housing a different individuality and destiny. Without even knowing it, your secret memory mourned your loss of each other, while your clay selves wandered for thousands of years through the universe. Your longing for each other never faded. This metaphor helps to explain how, in the moment of friendship, two souls suddenly recognize each other. It is so sweet to look out and see you nodding, like you know what this means. Whether you have met your soul partner and that's how you interpreted it, the way I interpreted it is that many, many times when someone comes through these doors, I have a hard time thinking that it is their first time because they look so familiar. And I've even said on more than one occasion, it's your first time? Like I have known them before. And so I invite you to open to this miracle of the clay people around you in this sweet community, the clay that may have laid next to each other for millions of years has now been reunited in the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. And so, to conclude and review, if you need a new idea or a solution, do your inspiration practices to open to the infinite mind. If you need to know that you are supported, spend 1 minute focusing on your breath. And if you need to feel connection, walk barefoot on the earth, if possible, holding the hand of someone else. Let's do the inner work. And so, I have a very, very sweet practice for us right now. And it simply is focusing in the area of your heart. Take your next breath in and out. And now let God take the next breath in and out. And then you take the next breath. And then let God take the next breath. If love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. And so the giving and the receiving is in the breath. The giving is in preparing the soil for inspiration, and the receiving is being inspired. The giving is taking care of our earth, and the receiving is all of the beauty around us. If love is why we're here, let us be an open channel. If love is why we're here, let us give and then receive. If love is why
The way is open to me. Can I get you guys to help me on that part? I'm going to sing it again, and you can follow Bodie. The way is open. The way is open. The way is open to me. My heart takes a breath it might not have otherwise known how to take. If the elements hadn't blown my mind awake, I'd sit back, relax into the stillness of the knowing that there's nothing stopping me. The way is open. The way is open to me. The way is open. The way is open. Keep singing that. The way is open. The way is open to me. One more time. The way is open. The way is open. The way is open. The way is open to me. The way is open to me. Now when doubt and fear come trying to block the door that's forever open, send 'em packing. Shrink the monsters of your mind into the palm of your hand and blow them away. Let the wind carry them away. The way is open. The way is open to you. The way is open. The way, the way, the way, the way, the way, the way is open. The way is open to you. The way is open to you. The way is open to you.
Lakshmi has CDs right around the corner. Now is the time for our tithes and offerings, so if you would prepare those and if the ushers would come forward. So I thought it would be really nice this morning as you are preparing to give to support this community that you hear from one of our ushers that has served us for quite a while. So Marta is going to speak just for a moment about her experience as an usher.
Hi, everybody. It's been so great to be a part of this community. I've been here for a little over a year, a couple of years now. flies. And I just want to say thank you so much for letting me be of service, and how wonderful it is and how grateful I am to be a part of the community and to receive what you have to give. Thank you.
So consider this activity blessed, and you blessed, and the gifts blessed. And Marta, I've got something to put in your basket. Would the ushers please receive the gifts?
Peace is now.
So blessing the offering and the giving and the consciousness of generosity and our collective ability to give and then receive. Blessed be. Well, I do want to invite you all back next week when David Ault will be the speaker. David Ault is, it tells a lot about him in this little bitty article in the bulletin. I've known him for years and years and years. He used to be a part of Alliance, which was a musical group in the 80s and 90s. And he's just done everything from television acting to philanthropy. He's the minister of the Atlanta Church. He will talk and sing, but Bodie and I will both be here too. So
Go on, play together.
Yeah. So be sure and you be here too, okay? You belong here. You belong here every single Sunday. And so now, would the ushers come forward, and I'd invite Judith to pray us out.
I think you meant practitioners.
What did I say? Oh, I thought I might have said ministers.
Practitioners are here to pray with you. So if you have a joy on your heart or a heavy heart, don't go home without meeting with some of these practitioners. And so if all the other practitioners will surround the room, knowing that they are holding the consciousness of the oneness and the openness, I invite you to take that stance, that position that allows you to be open and connect to that inspiration of the divine as we close this with prayer. And so as I stand here in this presence of the one mind, the infinite intelligence, that that which has always been and will never cease. That divine energy of life itself that rises with the sun each day. In this presence that I choose to call God, but goes by many names, I know that I am one with it, that I am constantly connected, that it is the inspiration that never ceases. It is the light of love when I open to it, and that there is nothing separating me from that other than my own closed heart. And so as I stand here now, I open my heart and I allow it to be as I am. And in that state and in that consciousness, I claim a shift in consciousness for myself, for every person in this room, for every person in the world who aligns with this open heart, aligns with this vision of wanting peace, peace, peace. Allowing that peace to dwell within, for truly that's the only place that peace can reside. And if it resides within us, it resides in the world. And so I claim a shift in consciousness, allowing peace. Peace from fear, peace from concern, peace from financial distress, peace from material worry, peace of mind around body, soul, and heart. And so as we go forth in the world today, we bring forth with us this peace that is dwelling within us when we recognize it. And as we go forth, we give thanks for knowing that this shift in consciousness has occurred already, and it is the driving force of my life now. And I let it be. And I ask each and every person in this room to join with me if you align with this, to say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Amen.
Of God now. All I need to know, I know. I am divinely supported with every breath. I am grounded and united with Mother Earth. All is well.